When my wife Mia and I bought our first house, it felt like a dream come true. Nestled in a quiet cul-de-sac, the neighborhood was perfect. Neatly trimmed lawns, friendly neighbors, and a sense of peace we hadn't felt in years. But there was one house that didn't quite fit the picture. Directly across the street stood a faded two-story house with chipped paint and a sagging porch. We rarely saw anyone come or go, and the only sign of life was the flickering porch light that turned on every evening like clockwork. The first time we noticed something strange was during our housewarming party. One of our guests pointed out the silhouette of a man standing in the upstairs window of the house across the street. "Looks like you've got a curious neighbor," they joked. Curious wasn't the word I'd use. The figure didn't move, not a twitch, not a sway. He just stood there, watching. Later that night, after the guests had left, I stepped outside to take out the trash. The porch light across the street flickered again, casting eerie shadows on the lawn. I glanced up at the window. The figure was gone. I chalked it up to my imagination, but over the next few weeks, things got stranger. Mia started noticing it too. "That guy across the street, have you ever seen him leave the house?" she asked one morning over coffee. I shook my head. "I don't think anyone lives there, it's probably abandoned." But it wasn't, at least not entirely. One evening, we decided to walk over and introduce ourselves, partly out of curiosity and partly to ease our growing unease. The front yard was overgrown with weeds, and the porch steps creaked ominously under our feet. We knocked. No answer. When I peeked through the dusty window, the interior looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Furniture was covered in white sheets, and cobwebs clung to the corners of the room. "Let's go," Mia whispered, pulling my arm. As we turned to leave, the porch light flickered again, casting our shadows against the door. I swear I heard faint laughter, soft, raspy, and coming from inside. That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 3 a.m, I got up to get some water and glanced out the window. The neighbor's upstairs light was on, and the same figure stood in the window, staring directly at our house. The next morning, I checked the local property records. The house had been vacant for over 10 years. Mia and I decided to let it go, but the neighbor didn't. A few nights later, there was a knock at our door. It was faint, almost hesitant. I opened the door to find no one there. But on the porch lay a single photograph. It was old and faded, showing a family standing in front of our house, except the father's face was stretched and distorted like a smudge on an old painting. The knocks came again the following night. This time there were 3 photographs, all of them showing the same man with the same grotesque, warped face. I had enough. I called the police. When the officers arrived, they found nothing but the photographs. They told us it was probably a prank, maybe some teenagers trying to scare the new neighbors. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. The final straw came a week later. I woke up to the sound of someone walking upstairs. "Mia, do you hear that?" I whispered. She nodded, her eyes wide with fear. Grabbing a baseball bat, I slowly crept upstairs, my heart pounding in my chest. The footsteps stopped as I reached the top of the stairs. I checked every room. Nothing. But when I returned to our bedroom, there was something new on my nightstand. Another photograph. This one showed Mia and me sitting in our living room, taken from outside our window. That was the night we decided to leave. As we packed our things, I glanced one last time out the window. The neighbor was standing in his yard, his face still obscured, but now I could see his hand raised in a wave. We never looked back. They're still out there, watching, and they know you're here. Don't make them wait. Like, subscribe, and share this video before it's too late. The Book of the Dread awaits you.